if you want to have just an incredible blast building a list, trying things out, this is, the most fun army in Heresy 2 as far
Absolutely.
as I'm concerned. I'm Manji. This is Ryan. A lot of people are talking about the Astra Milla what now?
Oh, you're in the Solar Auxilia, son.
We are focusing on the brand new Solar Auxilia rules in Liber Imperium. And folks, I love every page, every word. This is a dream.
For me, I am completely out of my depth, and Guard makes no sense. But they do look incredibly interesting. I gotta say, the Tertio makes the army. I think that's probably the best part of this.
It is. If you're a classic Imperial Guard lover, I played them in 3rd edition. I loved hordes of Cadians marching across the field and getting obliterated. This is that army.
Orcs but human.
Orcs but human.
Perfect.
And so the Tertios are the new platoons. But you get platoons based on the type of unit they are.
Okay.
So you could have 6 elite trooper squads as one elite choice. They react as one unit. So if you want to fire at this one group of 10 guys, suddenly it's, 60 Volkite shots coming back at you. And, that's just terrifying.
So let's talk a little bit about kind of the options here for, an army. So what do you think is going to be the go-to for building an army?
I think if you want to get started with Solar Auxilia, watch Saving Private Ryan or Band of Brothers. I think that's a good place to start.
1918. Perfect.
All Quiet on the Western Front just came out. The starting point with Solar Auxilia, you're going to look at I think they call them cohort doctrines. Yeah.
Right.
So you have 8 of these. These are very similar to Rites of War from the Astartes books, but they're so much more flavorful. So you've got the Old 100 to represent kind of the original Solar Auxilia detachments, where they get to run the elite Volkite squads as troops. Those guys also get Arvus Lighters as transport.
Oh, they're back.
They're back. They've been in print for how long?
Ever.
Right. So
Forever. They're
coming back. They're in the book. Can't wait to see that Forge-World restock. So you could have this elite drop force of Volkite guys. The Penal Legions are in here.
I was about to say, that might be my favorite, just because the flavor of, watching 150 guys in, prison jumpsuits, neon orange, run across the table. Oh, as someone who's not been to prison, that, makes my little heart pitter-patter. I think the thing that I do love most about this book, or I should say index portion for the Auxilia, is that you get so many hobby opportunities that, you can make a legion and look so interesting and so thematic, and you can make it fit the rules, and, you can have a bunch of dudes and rascals, riding across the plains.
Yeah, the Reborn Legions, which are all the old Solar Auxilia coming back into service as the Heresy opens up. I mean...
It's like the home front, basically.
Yeah, this is the modeling opportunities and the little paragraphs of flavor text we get are incredible. If you're a hobbyist, this is, I think, the army you want to play.
Yeah, this is a hobbyist first army. But, the rules are very good. You definitely have the opportunity to build a competitive and strong army with your Guard collection here. And as someone who has very rarely seen Solar Auxilia, I'm very excited that they made them as good as they are, because that means I'll get to see more of them.
I have seen 2 Solar Auxilia armies in person.
Okay.
I feel very privileged to have seen those armies.
How those fights go?
Well, it was 1st edition, so my Marines weren't on the table very long.
Okay,
so,
high plates.
So obviously they're going to be suffering from the sort of reduction in high strength ordnance.
Kind of the theme across all of Horus Heresy, where we've seen, those AP3s and AP2s going away.
Right. But this is, I think, a really minor hit to them, because they have so many options and their units are so cheap that they have so much to play with. They can run an all-tank army if you want, which is focused around Leman Russ squadrons. You can get, I think, 6 Leman Russes for 1 heavy support, which is wild.
The one that really enticed me was actually the one where you give a Cortex controller to your HQ, and then you start getting automata in there. For a Mechanicum player, you're like, how else can I use my forces besides dumping them into an Iron Hands list? And here you're like, we're gonna give it to a Guard commander and just have him run amok with a bunch of Castellix
or
Thanatar or Thalax. So it gives me options, and I'm excited about that.
And this is an army that allies to everybody.
You can fit it into anywhere in the book. It is check marks across the page.
It's really wonderful. And speaking of running them as a support army, For the first time in Warhammer history, we have Ultramar rules. There is a special cohort for Ultramar Solar Auxilia, where they are organized around what else but tons of guys with las guns.
This is the book of like Forge World Money Imperium problems.
I think when I ran the math, it was you can get 120 las guns for one troops choice, which is brilliant. I love it.
What did we calculate that out to be, like 1,200 shots or something?
No, that was the all rotor cannon.
All rotor cannons?
Yeah.
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 That makes sense.
If you want to engage in mad science, if you want to have just an incredible blast building a list, trying things out, this is, the most fun army in Heresy 2 as far as I'm concerned.
Let's get into a couple of the glowing units in here, some of the best stuff you can take.
I really, really dig the Volkite Veteran Squad.
Okay.
We mentioned those earlier, but 10 guys running around with Volkite Chargers, I believe.
Brutal.
It's just a ton of shots. They don't even cost 100 points. You can put them on the Arvis Lighter, which gives them deep strike, so you could have just hordes of Volkite deep striking in. That's a unit that stood out to me immediately. The other big shout out for me was the Ogrins.
Right. The Ogrins were interesting to me too. I really, really enjoyed seeing them come back with a whole lot of flavor. They're so good. They're so strong. Like strength 5, like high toughness.
AP3 melee.
Right. They can go absolutely toe to toe with like a Space Marine.
And that new named character buffs them.
The Solar Auxilia Surgeon Primus Avos Joven is truly special. I enjoy the fact that you can put him with the Ogrins. He's got Bitter Duty. He's got Bloody Infamy, Low Priority Target, Fearless, Bulky, Loyalist, all the good stuff. But he does so much for that Ogren squad.
Yeah, he resurrects them at full health, and they're multi-wound infantry. I predict, the hard-hitting auxiliary armies are going to be running this guy and Ogrins in some kind of transport for sure.
They are the battering ram.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's talk tanks, because this is also a treadhead army. So Leman Russes are coming back. Pretty much every variant of Leman Russ that was available in first edition comes back. We have the Malkador tanks also come back.
Right.
Those are really spicy. The new Rogel Dorn tank from the new Astra Militarum Codex is not in this book. So if you want 40k plastic, it's called a Leman Russ, son. You'll buy a few of them.
I hope that they actually put the Rogel Dorn into the PDF. I think that would be pretty special to see it come and be part of this army. But of course, we also have the very specialized Auxilia only units. The Tercios, a Driscosan Armored Transport. You cannot run these in Guard. They are Auxilia only. One of the transports that you can take, it is single hull, Gravis Las Cannon, Searchlight Smoke Launchers, and it has high capacity. You can take 22 dudes in this thing. Of course, movement 12, BS 3, front armor 13, side 12, rear 11, hull points 5. This thing is a bargain for 175 points.
It is weird putting a 80-point squad in a 175-point transport.
Right. Usually it kind of works the other way.
Yeah, I agree. These things are almost battle tanks in and of themselves.
And it has a flare shield.
If you are looking at the Solar Auxilia as a way to run hordes of infantry or mounted infantry or all tanks or any flavor of regular humans in the battlefields of the Horus Heresy, you can do it all with this army.
It definitely gives you the flexibility to run the type of army that you want to run, and of course, make it as flavorful as you want. And I think that is the real plus of this army. You can dust off all those miniatures you had for 30 years and make an army out of them and have a great time.
If you have the Metal Cadians from Rogue Trader in 2nd edition, they'll fit right in. Oh, yeah, the planes are in this one.
The planes are in this book. I love this because I love the Imperial Navy type stuff.
Yeah.
So we do get, of course, the Lightning back. We do get the Thunderbolt back. There's just so many good things in here. If you want to play Imperial Navy, you can do it.
Yeah. If ultimately, we've seen a lot of great infantry kits come out of Games Workshop and Forge World in the last few years, and pretty much all of them are runnable as Solar Auxilia. Obviously, you can run the official kits too. You could also run the regular Astra Militarum kits very ably with, not a ton of work. I think, from hobbying, conversion, painting, this is really a dream army. I genuinely didn't think Games Workshop could write armies like this anymore.
Well, I'm glad to see they're going to be on the table. There's all kinds of units in here that we are not going to have time to cover, but some highlights being the Rapier batteries are back, the Tarantulas are back. Of course, Leman Russes are back, Malkador tanks, and the armored batteries are back, the artillery.
Yep. The Basilisks.
The Basilisks. Valdor tanks, Destroyer squads. Those look spicy.
Ultimately, folks, for me, Liber Imperium has a ton of great content, but the pièce de résistance, the reason to get the book, it's right there in these Solar Auxilia pages. You can't go wrong.
On a small side note, the Cyclops demolition tank is back. I'm so excited. I'm taking 10.
Is it a small side note because it's a small tank?
It is.
And on that bombshell, I'm Manji. This is Ryan. We're here in the Bulls basement.
Allegedly.
And, you're in the Auxilia, son. Act like it.